I'd been rejected and gone to Durham or Warwick, then I'd always be thinking in the back of my mind,
oh, what if I went to Cambridge? What would my life be like if I went to Cambridge?
Now that I'm here though, soothed my pain somewhat. Hi guys, I am back here today with another sit down video. Whenever you see a video with the title RE, it means that I'm replying to an email. So please feel free to send me your dilemmas, anything in my email. I'll leave my email down below, but yeah, feel free to reach out to me via email if you want me to respond to anything. And excuse the hair, like it's fresh, so I don't know what's going on and I don't know if it's gonna mess up on camera, but let me read the email to you.
Guys, hi. Like many, I have found your YouTube channel very inspirational, and it was partly one of the reasons that drove me to apply to Cambridge in 2017. So please keep up the good work. Obviously the clue of this email is in the subject. I was rejected by Cambridge for a place in history. It stands to reason that this dented my self-esteem, but I have been given some hope by the feedback that I recently received. The main point is that the feedback...
I can't read.
The main point in the feedback was that my interviewers felt that my knowledge fell short of what they expected, but otherwise they were very complimentary of the application overall. This soothed my pain. Despite getting offers from Warwick and Birmingham, I feel I should have another go at Cambridge. Of course, this is risky to say the least. I trust your judgment. Is reapplication at all wise? I would like to thank you in advance.
So I'm finally getting around to filming this video, and the reason why I have taken so long to film this video is that I've actually reached out to students in my year and students that applied to Cambridge but didn't get in, and students that maybe got rejected first time round or took gap years for various reasons, in order to give you the most helpful feedback, because obviously it was a situation in which I've never been in, so I don't want to give you just a one-dimensional answer and you run off with that and it's not helpful. So I thought it's best to just ask as many people as possible for their opinions and then kind of relay that in this video, which I am going to do. Okay, so I just want to say that there is no formulaic way of getting into Cambridge. I know people that applied to Cambridge, didn't get offers, took gap years, reapplied and have got their offers. I know people that have missed their offers for their initial uni that they had in mind, got their papers remarked, took a gap year, applied to Cambridge and got in. I know people who have applied to Cambridge, didn't get an offer, took a gap year, applied to Oxford and got in. So this is just me saying that there is no formulaic way. There is no I've cracked the code as to how to get into Oxbridge. It really is situational. So when I did reach out to one of the group chats that I'm in to ask, guys, I've been asked this question, should someone reapply to Cambridge after not getting an offer? And one of the people actually responded, is that even a question? Of course they should. And I think it is a very pertinent question, because essentially what it comes down to is time. Time is the most valuable resource that we have. So reapplying is centered around time, and it's centered around whether you want to go to uni immediately, whether you want to go to, if you could take a year out, how you'll spend your time in that year out. So I'm just going to cover various topics. So the first piece of advice I have is to just focus on your exams, please. One of the people that reached out to me said that their course of action should just be find a different uni for now and then decide what course of action to take post results day. So the person in question turned down their insurance over a week after results day and decided, okay, you know what, I'm going to take a gap year and apply to Cambridge, or reapply to Cambridge actually, because they missed their offer, got into their insurance choice, decided to reject their insurance and then decided to take a gap year and apply again. I think that it's really important for you to just focus on your grades, because you're going to need competitive grades, especially if you don't know what the next pool of applicants is going to be like. You're just going to need to try as hard as possible to exceed your grades. So if they're asking for A star AA in the subject that you want to apply for, or study, then try and get A star, A star, A or above that. So try and exceed the grades that they're asking for, just so you kind of have that area covered already. They know that with grades you're fine. The second topic that I want to address, is it the subject or is it the uni? If you're applying to Cambridge with the sole aim to just get into Cambridge, I have a lot of problems with that, because you have to kind of want to be here. Like, in my opinion, your subject should be the primary reason, being able to do your subject in a world-class institution, etc, etc. So you really need to prioritize your priorities. So if you just like the idea of being at Cambridge, then that alone will kind of weigh down your application and how strong your application may be. There are many unis where the subject may be equally as good as it is as at Cambridge, or it might offer an alternate route to getting your degree than Cambridge. So you really want to thoroughly look into that, because Cambridge maybe necessarily isn't always the answer. You might find a uni that does your degree better, or that specializes in a way that you prefer than it is here. Of course, Cambridge is very highly ranked across different subjects, but you can still be taught at a high caliber at other unis, so don't write off other unis. Remember exactly why you want to get into Oxbridge in the first place. So for me it was easy. For me it was about coming to an institution where literally some of my favorite writers have learned at, have come to. So that was a really big inspirational, aspirational aspect for me. And it was also about the way that the degree was structured and what we looked at. And I liked the element of practical criticism, which is kind of like it's born and bred in Cambridge. And I wanted to be able to obviously learn how to do that. So that's why I applied here. And it was about the teaching style and the fact that you can get 1-to-1 supervisions, 2-to-1 supervisions, 4-to-1 supervisions, and just go really in depth about different kind of topics. And to narrow it down, I applied to my college because of more the setting. So you really want to have in the back of your mind your priorities for applying here. If you're applying here just to go to Cambridge, or just if you're applying to Oxford just to go to Oxford, I think, because that will be at the background of your application, then the foreground will just be blurred, or it won't be as strong as you want it. So really have good intention or strong intention, and you just have to keep reminding yourself about why you want to be here. If you're still unsure about what to do, I suggest that you take a year out, and if Cambridge doesn't pan out, then at least you're sure about the subject you really want to do, because so many students that I've spoken to are unsure as to whether or not they want to do the subject that they're doing. And I think the most dangerous thing you could do at uni is just pick a subject that you have no passion for, or that you really don't enjoy. So if you are going to take a year out, or if you are unsure as to what subject you want to do take the year out, think about it. And even if Cambridge doesn't work out, at least you know you're doing the right subject for you. So like I said again, the priority has to be your subject, to know exactly what you're going to do differently. So was it your interview and your knowledge that let you down, or was it your entrance exam that let you down? Try and kind of see what area you think you felt the weakest. I was told reapplying is, and I quote,
still quite stressful, but significantly less than the first time, as I already had experience of the interview process and worked on my feedback that I'd received.
Once you have received this feedback, just kind of think, what would you do differently in that situation? You need to know what you're going to do differently should you get an interview or do the entrance exam the second time round, and just kind of go over your feedback, and if you can, speak to some teachers that you trust as to how you can go about everything differently, or if you have someone to reach out to in the college, then I suggest you do that too. Another big one is to factor in the social life. I think this is a big thing that people don't factor in when applying to Cambridge, and it's something I didn't factor in when applying to Cambridge, and then look what happened to me. Caught off guard, to say the least. But anyway, another girl that took a gap year and reapplied to Cambridge reached out to me and told me some of her experiences, and we spoke a bit about social life. So I just don't know how else to say this, but Cambridge is different and it's not like any other uni, and it isn't a joke. Funny now, like for me thinking back, because I think had I been rejected and gone to Durham or Warwick, then I'd always be thinking in the back of my mind, oh, what if I went to Cambridge? What would my life be like if I went to Cambridge? Now that I'm here though, someone I spoke to said, and I quote,
"Ultimately, Oxbridge is not the be-all and end-all. Once you get in, it is a whole other set of trials and struggles that you don't see from the outside. The rose-coloured glasses are shattered and the reality sets in. That's not to say abandon your dream goal, just to make sure it's your dream or goal, that you can list the ways in which you need to capitalise on getting in, but also to be okay if you don't. You really need to know why you want to be here, and that's something a league table cannot tell you. Many of us here are struggling to adjust to this life, so you really have to think about it before you put your all into it."
It's something that I've spoken about in all my being at Cambridge videos, about, you know, the disparity between looking in from the outside and then looking out from the inside. It is really, really different. That someone mentioned is, are you considering a master's degree? This person said that if you're considering a master's or a PhD or something post undergrad, then the name of your uni can be really important. So if you do plan on doing a master's or a PhD and you're 100% sure on that, then maybe you may want to take your chance and reapply. Is what do you plan to do in that gap year? So if you've made up your mind that, okay, I'm going to reapply to Cambridge, what are you going to do with that year off? I think that people need to realise that gap years are options, and I wish I took a gap year, and I'm planning to film a video called I Wish I Took a Gap Year, because I think gap years are such great options that we don't normalise the conversation about them enough. I think that the options of gap years really need to be given to pupils. So one of my friends did take a gap year and then applied to Cambridge, so I'll let you know her experience, and again I'll read from my phone.
Just know that you cannot waste your time. A gap year is a chance to mentally refresh and grow. Taking a year out just to apply to Cambridge isn't completely a wise idea, but taking a gap year filled with work experience, networking, studying, travelling, etc. Can be a good idea, because at that point the Cambridge application becomes a side note.
And you just grow so much more as a person, to be honest, that it really does become a side note, because you've learned so much about yourself and you've built on your own characteristics and skills. So then should you apply to Cambridge, you may feel indifferent. So I wanted to address how I know people that didn't meet their offers or didn't get an offer and are thriving in their alternative environments. So now I'm gonna use the take from the person who was in that situation that I spoke to give you some advice. So they speak of the momentary pain when you don't get that offer. It is heartbreaking, but ultimately you move on and you make amazing friends and form an amazing life elsewhere, and you still can do amazing at your degree. The girl I spoke to believes that genuinely, in hindsight, the course she applied to, so she applied to Oxford for classics, she believes that in hindsight it wouldn't have been for her anyway, and ended up going elsewhere to do a history degree. She's very much in the mindset of everything happens for a reason. So she said to me,
"I'm really happy at Warwick and I'm barely stressed. I have time for all the extracurriculars I want. Terms are short, holidays are long. I love the course, made friends for life, and met my boyfriend here, so I'm happy now, and my rejection made me stronger. Some wounds need to heal and aren't worthy of reopening, in my opinion."
So her opinion is that, you know what, take it on the chin, it happens. There are about 10,500 applications to Cambridge each year, and only 2,000, I think this year it was like 2,612 or something like that. So only about 2,500 pupils actually end up getting and securing a place, as well as meeting their grades, getting here, because some people miss their grades. So that's literally a pool of like 8,000 people that haven't made it here. But that's not to say that all 8,000 people aren't thriving wherever they went and aren't having a good time wherever they met. I think really an institution is what you make it. And you never know the people you meet in your respective unis. She figured out that the course she applied to for anyway wasn't great at Oxford, so she was, in the end, in hindsight, grateful that it happened to her. So maybe it takes a bit of hindsight to understand why this happened, and maybe it's just that so soon after it, in this moment, you still feel a bit of what if, and maybe if you do end up going to another uni, then you'll come to realize that actually, wait, this was the best thing that happened for me. Is it really what you want? A lot of people I speak to, sometimes it's the idea of Oxbridge that they like, rather than actually wanting to be here, if that makes sense. I think you need to just be really certain about what you want and why you want to be here, because it's your money. This uni stuff is an investment, so you have to make sure you're investing wisely. Ultimately, if you believe that Cambridge is the best investment for you, then take that chance and reapply, but just know that it can go either way. I just want to remind you that no matter where you go, you can excel anywhere. So really do kind of think about that. I know it's cringe to say, but that whole Cambridge isn't the be all and end all. You might go elsewhere and thrive, so you need to keep that in the back of your mind. Good luck, whatever happens, good luck, best of luck. Try again, like I said, the very first piece of advice I guess I gave, and the most important is to put this at the back of your mind for now, and just please focus on getting your grades, because that's the most important thing. I really hope that helped with some of your qualms about reapplication. If you do have any further questions, feel free to email me or leave your questions down below. Don't forget to check out my social media, that will be down below as well. Yeah, I'll see you next time, and I hope that was useful. Bye!